Good morning. Thank you for having me back. I had the privilege of coming here a couple of years ago when I first got to Monterey Park. And so I just wanted to give you a little update of what's going on with our city. And some of the projects you'll see on here are ones that has been talked about for about 15 years that are going to come, and we're getting very close, so I'll give you a little bit more of an update on this. The first project that has been going on forever is the marketplace development. The marketplace development, just last week we approved the final map. We're hoping that they're going to close escrow on this 45-acre property along the 60 freeway this summer and start grading. There's probably about 6 months to a year worth of grading work that needs to occur. It was a former Superfund site, meaning that the EPA kind of took possession and control of that site about 20-some years ago. It was the operating industries landfill for those that have been around for forever. But this is all, there's 45 acres on the north side of the 60 that is entitled to build a 500,000 square foot shopping center anchored by Home Depot and 400,000 square feet of other stuff. But again, we're hoping to get that broken ground this summer. In Monterey Park, we are a phenomenal city to eat in, but not the greatest one to shop in. And so this will bring in, upon completion, will bring in over $1.5 million worth of sales tax to the community. Of that, we share 17% of that with the city of Montebello through an agreement that was done about 15 years ago for access to the site. One of the roads off of Paramount goes through Montebello. And so we're very anxious to get that going. Another big area of focus that we've been working on is the North Atlantic corridor. And North Atlantic basically is from the freeway to Garfield Boulevard. We've got 3 proposed hotel properties. As San Gabriel has, as all the cities around here, I think everybody's looking at and trying to capture the Asian tourism. As you know, all trips to the United States at some point go through Monterey Park, and for some reason they all seem to end in Las Vegas. We want to capture, right now the tours all come through to eat, but then they come to San Gabriel or elsewhere to stay. And so we're looking to try to capture. So we've got 3 properties that have been purchased and are all in the entitlement phase. The first one that I'm showing you is the 2-acre site and the design is going to change a little bit off of this, but it's a Courtyard by Marriott, 280 rooms that's being worked on to be entitled right up at across from the Atlantic Times Square project, just basically the 10 freeway in Atlantic. The next project is Midblock, and those that know Monterey Park, it's just south of Bank of America and just north of the 99 Ranch Market. That is a 187-room DoubleTree project. And the first project will generate over $1 million a year in transit occupancy tax. So again, from a city perspective, that's vital. This one will do about $600,000 or $700,000 a year in transit occupancy tax. The next one is the AG Hotel. This one actually goes to the Planning Commission next week. It's identified as AG because there's not a flag associated with it yet. This is a mixed-use project. It's a 148-key hotel, as well as a tower that has 110 residential units. At this point, it's being marketed as kind of a high-end rental, fully furnished, and kind of that they're looking at that market for people that may want to just come in and I think they're looking at a lot of overseas people that want to have a place here but don't want to get into the full having to furnish it and do everything on their own. The rooms would be serviced also by the hotel. It's kind of a hybrid project. This one is like I said, the entitlement will be at the Planning Commission next week. Another section of town that we're trying to capture or recapture is the South Garfield. This is the section from basically Riggins down to the 60 freeway. It's a part of town that has kind of been forgotten for many years, but it's got a tremendous bone structure to it. There's some great restaurants, great amenities, There's dry cleaners and flower shops and barber shops and some good restaurants. Some of you may know the Venice Room and Bellini's and Shaka's and stuff down there. It's got a really nice village feel to it, but it's right now it's the entryway to the freeway, so it needs a lot of care and love. So we have a strategic, specific plan update that we're working on right now that would kind of just work on some landscaping, some setbacks, and we've got tremendous sidewalks, 14-foot sidewalks down there. So we're looking to capture outdoor dining, looking at maybe doing a kind of a way to jumpstart that area with maybe a 2 or 3 year window where if you come in, we'll completely flex or change the parking requirements for the first comers to it. So again, it's got some very good structure to it. It's very much of a neighborhood feel type of environment. Housing, we're building housing. We've got 2 big projects that are coming on. When I say big projects, everything's infill. So we don't have big projects like thousands of homes. But this is a project that is done by the Olson Company. It's fully entitled, but in the city of Monterey Park, for some unknown reason, if it's more than an acre and you're rezoning something residential, it's got to go to the vote of the people. So on June 3rd, this is going to the vote of the residents. Currently there's been no opposition to it. It's down on Potrero Grande, down near the Marketplace Development. Many of you are probably familiar with the Olson Company. They do great work. These are 80 single-family homes that they're proposing at this site. Another project that is an interesting project. It's got lots of moving parts to it, but we're excited for the possibility, is by City Ventures, another well-known commodity here in the valley. This site is currently our city yard. So this is where the bulldozers and the tractors and the public works vehicles are all out of. It's about a 7-acre site, kind of nestled between Garvey Ranch Park and a bunch of single-family residential homes. It's been there forever, probably long before the homes ever got built into there. But when we look at this, it's got spectacular views, and it just seems to be, we looked at it and just, it doesn't seem to make sense to be having the corporate yard in the middle of this neighborhood. So we're working to try to relocate the yard. We're looking at a variety of options. We need about 3 to 4 acres to move the yard, and so the components to this is City Ventures buys the land from us. We take that cash and buy a new property and build a new yard in a little bit more appropriate place. Meanwhile, the neighborhood gets a new development. Originally, it started off at 35 homes in the 2,000, 2,500 square foot range. The neighbors, through a series of community meetings, the neighborhood spoke that they wanted less homes, so now they're down to 25, but they're up in the 3,000 to 3,500 foot range is what they would be looking at. This one's kind of midway in the entitlement process. Because it's a city property, currently we have to go through a process called sale of surplus property. So we're in that process right now where we have to kind of let other government agencies know that we're going to be disposing of this. That period ends and then hopefully that'll move forward more with some entitlement. We're excited to have both City Venture and Olson Company working with us because they do outstanding work and they've been a pleasure to work with. Many of you know that a couple of years ago the Wisdom in Sacramento eliminated redevelopment agencies. And I won't get into the issue of Sacramento and how they constantly steal the city's money and push all of their problems down to cities. But one of the byproducts of that is they took about $15 million of our cash from our redevelopment agency and they redistributed it to other people. That's how they kind of solved some of their financial problems. Well, about $3 million came back to the city of Monterey Park. It was one-time money through this dissolution. And so the council, much to their credit, decided to reinvest that money in the community. And I give the council great kudos for that. And so we've got a $3 million, almost $4 million park enhancement project. The city of Monterey Park has 13 parks. There's a park within a mile or half mile of everybody's home. They've got a tremendous park system, but it had been run down over the years. So you will see construction at every park in town. We've got new playgrounds coming into 4 parks as we speak. And we've got new picnic shelters coming into 3 of them. We're updating the ADA at all of them. There'll be tennis court lighting. All the tennis court lighting will be changed out. All the roads repaved, the new irrigation system throughout the infrastructure. So there'll be a lot of work. Hopefully in the next month or so we'll start to be opening up some of these parks, these playgrounds, and picnic shelters. We invite you to the Lions Club. Always does a big pancake breakfast. And June 1st, they tasked us that we've got to get the picnic shelter at Barnes open by then, otherwise I'm in big trouble. So don't want to get Lions upset with us. Those of you that are golfers, and Monterey Park has had a little golf course, a little 9-hole golf course for years. That was very run down. It's a lighted course, which is unusual. It's a 9-hole, not a spectacular one, but we had new buyers came in, and they've invested over $5 million in the last 6 months on this facility, and it's spectacular. The golf course will be opening shortly, but the driving range is a brand new 2-level, I think there's 65, fully automatic. You don't even have to bend over to put the ball on the tee. It just keeps coming. About 8 cents a ball, we get 7% of that, so get away. But the fact that they put about $5 million into this facility, and I encourage everybody to go out there. So it's right next to, at the 710 and the 10, like next to where Luminarius is, in the back of Luminarius, and they so far exceeded our expectations by miles. And there's a beautiful new patio. You can sit out there and while you wait, and brand new pro shop with millions of dollars of very expensive golf equipment in it. And so we're excited about that. The range opened about a month or 2 ago, and the course, they redid everything on the course, and so that should be opening very shortly. Another area that we are working on citywide is our infrastructure. Again, for whatever reason, Monterey Park for years just did not reinvest in their community. And similar to the parks, but we are going through a massive capital infrastructure program as we speak. We're working with the Siemens company. Siemens is coming in, and they've given us a proposal that will change all of our light fixtures, all of our HVAC on all the city buildings, all of our water meters throughout the city. And the way that this program works is they provide the financing for it, and just through the energy savings, what we save on the Edison bills, and go to repay the bond for the project. It's about a $10 to $15 million project that's just, again, fully funded through the savings. Part of it is to go into Southern California Edison. They own about 3,400 streetlights in town. We pay a flat rate, and this is probably very similar in many of the communities. So we would go in, we would buy that infrastructure from Edison. We would convert all of the fixtures to brand new LED fixtures, so you end up with an upgraded infrastructure, but then our electric bill goes from $500,000 a year to light the street lights in the evening down to about $100 to $150. And the Delta pays for the infrastructure and the improvements. So we're excited about that program. We're also in the middle of a over $100 million capital infrastructure program on our water and sewer system. Monterey Park is coming, I think we're 97, 98 years old. Some of our infrastructure is 97, 98 years old. They just have not invested in the infrastructure. Our water rates are half of what every other city in the San Gabriel Valley is. Our sewer rates are like a tenth, if that. And so we're going to be updating our rates, so there's going to be a lot of pain. Everybody's going to experience, but that's the only way. We can't run a system without the proper infrastructure. If anybody has got old 100-year-old old galvanized pipes in your home, you know that you've got to, even though you don't like it, you've got to upgrade that at some point to copper and get nice new plumbing. And And so we're in that process. The city council will vote on the new rates on June 18th. So we're getting some outreach with the community. It's interesting, in Monterey Park, there's 2 private water companies that just through, probably it was annexed probably 50 or 60 years ago. One little area is down by East Los Angeles College. People would remember that used to be LA unincorporated, LA County area down there. But those neighbors, those 5% of the people, one is over there and one is kind of over by Potrero, they pay 2.5 times for water what the person across the street does, because the Monterey Park water system has been so antiquated. So we're kind of bringing everything up. We'll still be the lowest rates in San Gabriel Valley, or one of the lowest, but we're entering into this, and it's $100 million. It's probably, when we're all said and done, it's going to be about $125 to $150 million worth of infrastructure that we'll be doing. A couple things that we've done, and every city struggles mightily with the shopping cart. The markets, once again, the lobby of the grocery store lobbyist is much greater than the city lobbyist, and they've got regulations that don't allow us to be too strict on it, but we've got so many seniors that just feel it's a normal thing to walk to the grocery store and walk home, and you ask them, they say, oh yeah, I just leave it here on the grass and somebody comes and gets it. It's great. Well, it's a major irritant to the community, so we've just updated our shopping cart ordinance and working with all the stores to try to update it and kind of educate the clients. It's hard, and we don't want to be ticketing grandma with her groceries, but we do want grandma to buy one of those little $5 carts and take that to and from. I've got here residential motels, and Monterey Park deals with it. A lot of the other cities, I don't think they even know it exists. But if you go to the corner of San Gabriel and Valley, you can see it exists, because every light pole, tree, anything that is standing, if you stand there long, you will get a little sign taped to you that says, typically in Chinese with little tear-off things, that there's room for rent for $10 a night. And those rooms are in a 2 to 3 bedroom house, single family home in a neighborhood. Typically it's an absentee landlord, somebody that's either overseas or living in a different community. They're getting good rent, they don't care. But meanwhile, somebody has rented this house and then they've subdivided it and put 25 to 30 mattresses on the floor in this house. And it's in every one of your cities. And it's typically people that have just come to the United States. They're working in restaurants, they're working in houses, they're cleaning, and it's a place for them. It includes porridge and a mattress. And you've got about 30 of these people living in there, and when they can get up enough, they move on. And so it's very entrepreneurial people doing it, but it's against the law, and it just tears up the neighborhood and infrastructure. So we're very aggressive going after them from a code enforcement perspective. We need your help, because I guarantee you, many of you in this room lease to that individual and wash your hands of it and say, hey, that was great. That was a nice commission. I see no evil, hear no evil, but it's a problem that exists out there. And it's not good for the communities. Got up here the residential commercial property inspection report. As many of you know, with the help of this association and Lee Lever. The city council, end of last year, eliminated this requirement of commercial and residential inspections. It was more of a philosophical thing. For years, Monterey Park just liked to be in people's lives. And we didn't feel that I think the council felt, there's other safeguards out there. We don't need to be the keeper of that. We still do apartment inspections. We still do, commercial inspections and things, but for every sale of a home, for us to come in, one of the big problems was if you bought a fixer-upper, the old requirement made the seller fix it up before they could sell the fixer-upper. It seemed kind of counterintuitive. Or, you come in and somebody was going to tear down that house, but we made them fix it before you could tear it down. So it didn't make a lot of sense. So we've gotten rid of that. And so we're working on trying to streamline things, trying to get things a little quicker. I know when I was here before, Some of my friends told me about how difficult and slow cities can be, and they are. And there's a huge infrastructure that's in place that we're trying to dismantle those that we can. One of the items, the last one, is a Permits Plus. It's about a $500,000 software program that we've installed that's rolling out right now that allows a much faster, more streamlined process, but it also allows you as a homeowner or you as a broker or a builder to be able to go online at any time and see exactly where your project is. So, one of the biggest complaints I get is, the city, I'll get a call from a builder or an architect that tells me, the city's taken too long to check my plans. It's been 6 months. What's going on? Well, you'll be able to go on to Permits Plus, and you'll be able to see that, and most of the times in that case, plans got turned into the city. After 2 weeks, we gave it back to the architect, and it's been sitting in the architect's office for the last 3 months. And the builder or the owner has no idea. But we always get the blame. So now with Permits Plus, you'll be able to go on and see it right there. The field inspectors will be able, in the field, be able to update everything as they go through these inspections. They'll be able to update it, and we think it'll provide a much more streamlined process. But we still have a long way to go. I mean, we've got, for just development and projects, we need your input. We need more feedback. I heard this morning that Arcadia seems to be doing a better job than some of the other communities. So we'll be talking with Arcadia to see how new projects, how they can get up and get moving a little quicker and get things streamlined. We're working on a project right now where we're trying to go in phase. Just get us the grading permit, and you can start grading, and then update the commercial component, and during the grading, then we can get that done. We don't need to get all these things simultaneously, but we just need to do a better job. There's no doubt about it. And your feedback is helpful. So if you can give us any guidance of who's doing it well, who's not. I know we're not doing it well enough, so we need to do better. Question and answer. There's a lot going on, and I think, I have this. Just briefly, we had a very tragic accident a week ago in the city of Monterey Park. A Monterey Park fire engine was traveling eastbound on Emerson, going to a house fire. A Alhambra fire truck was traveling southbound on Garfield, also going to the exact same call. Got to the corner of Emerson and Garfield at exactly the same time and collided in the middle of the intersection. Don't know yet how it happened. But it was a tragic situation. Our fire, so think of it, okay, we've got a 40,000-pound fire engine, and Alhambra was probably driving a 60,000-pound fire truck, hook and ladder truck, and they collided. And our engine ended up hitting the Munglu's dumpling house on the southeast corner. Lots of injuries, lots of issues. So we don't know much more than that at this point. We're cooperating with the Highway Patrol, and our thoughts and prayers are with all those families and loved ones. But it's we've for years, Alhambra and Monterey Park and San Gabriel and Montebello, we all have what's called automatic aid. So dispatch, these vehicles are dispatched out of what they call Glendale, the Verdugo fire dispatch system. So if there's any of our cities here, if you have a fire, good chance that you're going to, depending on where the pieces of equipment are at any one moment, you'll see 4 different departments all responding to that. It's a great system, moving the pieces around, but again, tragedy happens from time to time. And so we've been kind of dealing with that over the last week or so. But if anybody has any questions, I'm more than happy to answer. I'd love to hear suggestions on things that we can do better, and that we can make our community better.